Happy Election Day, fam, and welcome to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. Extreme volatility. Bitcoin recaptured 70,000. We're going up. We're going down. Historic day here in the United States and all around the world as all eyes on the U.S. election, which is today, November 5th. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest technical analysis. We'll also be discussing Microsoft risk shareholder lawsuit if it ignores Bitcoin and the prices rise. I'll be breaking down this report, as well as Fundstrat's Tom Lee says market set to rally into the year end regardless of the election winner. I'll be sharing these predictions from Thomas Lee of Fundstrat. We'll also be discussing, is a Trump win confirmed? Well, Jim Kramer says the markets predict Harris to win. Inverse Kramer all the way. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin price target as 120,000, says analysts, as the key metric flips bullish. We'll also be discussing hellish U.S. debt scenario can propel the Bitcoin price to $1 million by this particular date. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much motherfucking more in today's show. If you're new to the channel, important to smash the likes, go ahead and subscribe, then hit that sexy bell icon to turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, 365 days out of the year, just like this. Today is pod 1809. I'm your fearless host, JV. Historic day. It's November 5th, election day here in the United States. So we're going to be discussing everything election related regarding the markets and what's happening with the price action and so on. So let's kick it right off. Without further ado, let's kick it with our market watch as we do each and every day. You should be able to see Coin 360 on your screen. Bitcoin sitting above 69,500, up 2.5% on the day. We already tapped 70,500. Expect more extreme volatility. You already know. Ether pull back and in the red, while BNB, Solana, Cardano still in the green. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. We're sitting on a 2.3 trillion market cap. The Bitcoin market cap itself is 1.37 trillion. We got 93 billion worth of volume in the past 24 hours, with the volume up 24%, ironically enough. Bitcoin dominance doing its thing all the way up to 59.5%. The Ether dominance is at a multi-year bottom of 12.6%. Things aren't really looking so well for Ether right now. Checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours. We got FET up 10%, MOG up 10%, and Tau up 9%. Which alts, if any, are you bullish on for the bull? Holla at your boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we get a visual perspective. Let's start on the daily. 90% of the market plus in the green today. So overall, pretty bullish. And zooming out for the monthly, I'd say 60-40 in the red. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index. Today, we're same as yesterday at 70 in greed. Last week, a 72. And last month, dead in the middle with a 50. Neutral. And checking out the time chain calendar, survey says we have 180,979 blocks until Bitcoin halving 2028. And we're currently on block 869,021. And you can currently exchange $1 US for 1,441 sats. So stack them sats accordingly. And welcome everyone just joining the live stream. Let's continue with our technical analysis and what's happening in the markets right now. Extreme volatility. We're up, down, left, right, BA, select, start. Contra, infinite men. There's the cheat code on the NES. Just saying, broskies. Anyways, check this out, yo. Here you're looking at the 1 hour chart. Bitcoin jumped almost 4% today as U.S. presidential election volatility hit the crypto market. TradingView tracked a blitz Bitcoin price move near 70,300. Subsequent correction saw the Bitty swiftly return to 69.5, precisely where we're at the time of the live. But it was mostly short positions, seeing liquidations as the abrupt surge caught the market by surprise. Quoting the analyst here. Sudden spot buying in unison, as Beltuna shares. Some compared the landscape to the previous election years, which fellow trader Mustache considered the likelihood of the Bitcoin already having put in a local bottom. Quoting the analyst, imagine Bitcoin bottomed out just before the U.S. election. The majority assumed it would happen afterwards. That would be the perfect front run, to be honest. In 2020, the whole scenario looked very similar. Deja vu, broskies. Deja vu. And as shared by Crypto Quant, the Bitcoin price has rallied after the last 3 U.S. presidential elections. The price of Bitcoin was up 37% in 2016. From the election day to the end of the year, the performance in the same period was 98% in 2020 and 22% in 2012. It is worth noting that the price of the Bitcoin in 2024 has performed very similar to 2016. And 2016, we saw like a 2,700% pump. Deja vu, let's freaking go. I'm so ready. This means that if there is a positive catalyst after the elections, prices can rally as they were not overvalued. Market volatility, meanwhile, confirmed the expectations as reporting trading firm QCP Capital share here. The crypto market is currently pricing in a 3.5% Bitcoin spot movement on the election night itself, and yet traders may be underpricing post-election risks. The current lack of volatility, premium beyond the November 8th expiry, suggests the markets expect a quick resolution, possibly underestimating potential delays or contested outcomes. Let me know your thoughts. Meanwhile, Charles Edwards, founder of quantitative Bitcoin and digital asset fund Capriole Investments, was among those who saw Bitcoin shrugging off the election to continue its bull run. Here, he argued this week inflows into the U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs spoke for themselves. That's right. So there you go. And now I want to read with you from my X account some interesting things. Historical Bitcoin prices on election day. Numbers don't lie here. In 2012, it was $10. In 2016, it was $709. In 2020, $13,500. And right now, today, it's 60,000. 60,000 or 69,500. And my prediction in 2028, hey, what the heck? $1,420. Send it. Let's freaking go. And Chandy, brand new music video. You can check that out, of course, on her new music channel. I encourage you to check that one out. And yeah, Bitcoin reclaimed 70 Gs this morning. There's the proof of work right there. I posted it. And as Ash Crypto pointed out, Bitcoin pumped 2,700% when Trump won last time. This time he's pro Bitcoin and pro crypto. So if he wins today, we're going to the moon. Could you imagine a 27x from 70,000? That would take us on the cusp of $2 million per coin. Let that one sink in, broskies. And in other news, Haley, the Hawktua girl, bullish on the biddy. It don't get no sexier than that. Ride the rockets, folks. Ride the rockets. And something the Bitcoin Archive pointed out, which is factual. Trump is for a Bitcoin strategic reserve, freeing Ross Ulbricht day one, firing Gary Gensler, and making the United States of America a Bitcoin mining hub. Kamala, crickets. She had her chance to embrace the Bitcoin and ultimately said no thanks. No argument from me there. That's pretty spot on. Let me know if you agree or disagree there. And let's check out some of the live charts, broskies. Here's some of the live charts via TradingView, via Coinbase. Again, massive volatility. You see a big green candle followed by a big red candle. This is the 1 hour chart. It shows us we hit a high of 70,500 on Coinbase, ballpark. We currently have a bull target on the 1 hour sitting at $71,900. Overall, though, we have a falling wedge formation. And zooming out from there, we'll check out the 4 hour. We'll get different looks. Again, live and in the flesh. We do have a blue bull target sitting at 81,003, which would take us to price discovery. Clearly a new all-time high with a Trump pump victory. Anything is possible. You never know. We may see 80 Gs today. What are your thoughts? The green target in the bull, it's a bullish pennant, 78.8. We do have a bullish pennant formation. We also have a red target, a modest target at 72.3. So you already know. And zooming out from the 4 hour, let's check out the 1 day. The 1 day chart says, yeah, I mean, we've had quite a run up and then we had quite a correction and we're retesting 69, 70,000 range live and in the flesh. And zooming out from the 1 day, we still have the bullish 1 week chart, which shows us that sexy cup and handle target sitting pretty at $124,000. So let that one sink in. And zooming out from the weekly, we take a quick glimpse of the 1 month. As you can see, past couple of months, we continue with the green bullish momentum, and we're currently in November, which is another historically bullish month. So you already know, fam. But let's continue with the headlines because it's a big day and I got a lot to share. Next headline, Microsoft risks shareholder lawsuit if it ignores Bitcoin and the price continues to rise. That's right. Big news. Microsoft could risk being sued by shareholders if it decides not to invest in Bitcoin. Now we're talking. And the price increases accordingly to a policy research center driving a proposal to consider the digital asset. As I broke this news last week live on the pod, they are voting the shareholders to adopt Bitcoin. Microsoft is one of the most successful companies in the entire world. They're holding on to hundreds of billions of dollars of cash. And if they invest into Bitcoin like MicroStrategy, game on. That can send Bitcoin parabolic, surpassing the six-figure milestone. You already know. So in December, Microsoft shareholders will vote on whether the company should conduct an assessment of investing in Bitcoin. The proposal is being pushed by the National Center for the Public Policy Research. Now, why do I feel they're likely to adopt Bitcoin? Who are their primary shareholders? Vanguard owns 9% of Microsoft. I know because I looked it up. And BlackRock, world's largest asset manager, owns 7+% of frickin' Microsoft. The same people who own the majority of MicroStrategy. And of course, they're bullish on the biddy, so you already know it's about to get lit. And shout out Jason Buck. He just gifted 10 MicroStrategy memberships to the channel. I'll congratulate everyone when we get through with this story. Thank you, Mr. Buck. So, Ethan Peck, deputy director of the NCPPR's Free Enterprise Project, said the proposal could put the firm in a tight spot if it ultimately decides not to invest into Bitcoin, quoting Peck here. So should Microsoft publicly and explicitly determine in this assessment that it is not in the best interest of Microsoft shareholders to purchase any of the Bitcoin, then Bitcoin proceeds to increase in value, as it likely will, then there will be many grounds for shareholders to sue the company. They don't want these lawsuits, do they? Now, Microsoft board is recommending the shareholders vote against it, arguing they already evaluate a wide range of investable assets, including Bitcoin. Peck said that even if the proposal fails, it still opens up an important dialogue between Microsoft and the shareholders, and it could build momentum for a stronger resubmission next year in 2025, quoting him again. Whether or not this proposal passes, what Bitcoiners have done over the past week in forcing Microsoft to pay attention to this has been a massively important step towards the desired outcome of the proposal at Microsoft and other large companies. You're damn straight. Now, NCPPR describes itself as a nonpartisan, free market independent, conservative think tank. In its initial pitch to Microsoft, the research center highlighted business intelligence firm MicroStrategy's Bitcoin investment strategy, noting it has outperformed Microsoft by over 300% this year, despite doing a fraction of the business of Microsoft. It is also said that the institutional and corporate adoption is becoming more commonplace, which is a fact through the Bitcoin ETFs. So you already know, more companies around the world likely to adopt the biddy. And when that happens, game theory in full effect. But anyways, let's continue with the headlines, shall we? Let's discuss the latest with Fundstrat's Tom Lee. He made some recent predictions. Headline reads, Fundstrat's Tom Lee says market set to rally into the year end, regardless of the election winner. That's right. In a new CNBC interview, Lee says that while the election has caused some trades to reverse, it also plays cash on the sidelines and ready to boost the markets when the uncertainty has passed. Quoting him here from the recent interview, I am bullish only in the sense that the election uncertainty has caused people to de-risk and the cash to sit on the sidelines. But the fundamentals have been good. Earnings seasons have been very good. The Fed is dovish, and I don't think it is going to matter who ends up in the White House, even if it's a split Congress or a sweep. I think markets do pretty well either way. So it sets up for a really good rally into the year end. But when it starts in November, it's just what we don't know. And when asked about Warren Buffett's recent moves to hold more cash, Lee says Berkshire Hathaway chairman will likely have to rethink his position next year when rates go down and holding cash becomes more costly. You hear that, Microsoft? Now, Buffett recently dumped $10.5 billion worth of his Bank of America shares. Down with the Bank of America. And slashes, I hate JP Morgan as well. I mean, that's Jamie Dimon's company and Wells Fargo. Those are the big three. He says their holdings are going to go to zero. He also says, I know part of it is he's anticipating capital gains taxes, which could change. So he is taking those gains now. And he is not necessarily having a big cost of money because he's earning 5%. But next year, the cost of money is going to drop, so I'll have some pressure to deploy it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Fundstrat's Mr. Thomas Lee. And do you think people like Warren Buffett, who once called Bitcoin rat poison square, will ever come around and embrace the biddy because they have no choice? Let me know your thoughts. Next story of the day, reverse Kramer. If reverse inverse Kramer is right, then Trump already won. That's right. Television personality, everyone's favorite financial advisor, Jim Kramer, may have indirectly signaled a victory for Trump in the election. Monday, November 4th, Kramer reviewed the stock market performance and said that the move showed growing investor confidence in a victory for President K in the 2024 presidential election. Quoting him here, "I'm not sure the market's right about what a Miss K presidency would mean for business, but at least now we have a blueprint for what Wall Street thinks it'll mean." Some investors are taking Kramer's K prediction as a sign of a Trump victory due to the phenomenon known as the inverse Kramer effect, which all the crypto bros are familiar with, which sees the opposite outcome of Kramer's predictions come to pass like clockwork. Now, Kramer's prediction came a day ahead of the election day in the U.S., where crypto is becoming a political focal point for the first time in history. The inverse Kramer trend led to the ETF aiming to profit from shorting Kramer stock tips. However, the ETF was closed and liquidated after just 10 months, attracting $2.4 million in investment, returning a negative 15% since its launch, highlighting Kramer's predictions are not always wrong. Well, even a broken clock is right at least twice a day, as they say. However, polymarket odds flipped in Trump's favor big time October 4th, marking a sharp reversal from September. And by October 12th, Trump was leading by over 10 points. And today he's up by over 20 points on the polymarket. Website. And if someone can look it up right now, when I looked it up earlier, it was like 62% in Trump's favor. Polymarket whales, investors with large amounts at the Capitol, continue betting millions on a Trump victory, even on election day. Earlier, November 5th, an unidentified whale, Wallet Mobile, deposited $5 million in USD coin on the polymarket to back Trump, with $2.8 million already placed, according to Look On-Chain data, as outlined here. And another whale, the largest Trump backer, withdrew an additional $3 million in USDC for Trump bets on November 5th. The mysterious whale holds over $18.5 million worth of yes votes for Trump, with a current unrealized profit of over $528,000. Now, as reported, that 4 out of the 6 largest Trump voting accounts on Polymarket were controlled by the same entity known as Freddie Quadruple 9, who helped bolster Trump's odds above 60% by buying over $20 million worth of yes shares up on October 18th. However, transaction patterns suggest the account is unrelated to the Polymarket accounts controlled by Freddie. Moreover, the mysterious whale has surpassed all the accounts associated with Freddie, becoming the biggest Trump bettor on Polymarket with over 29.4 million yes shares. So there you have it, yo, as the election gets closer and closer to a winner. Next headline, we discuss inverse Kramer. Now let's discuss the 120,000 target, and then we'll discuss $1 million Trump pump. And then we'll do some live Q&A, and then we'll move on to the uncensored version of the pod. And let's do something huge today. What if Bitcoin just soared to 120,000 today? Could you imagine that? I actually can. I exercise my imagination. Here's something I learned a long time ago. The mind is a muscle. And just like a muscle, the more you exercise the power of your imagination in your mind, the stronger your mind becomes, and the more powerful it becomes. So you can create alchemy using the power of the mind. It's called manifestation, right? And you too can manifest anything you can imagine in the mind. You can actually manifest. That's the power of exercising your imagination. However, most human beings have no imagination. All they do is watch TV and be programmed to believe in whatever the lizard people tell them. You know what I mean? So start exercising that imagination. Let's visualize $120,000 Bitcoin price here in November. Let's turn that imagination into a reality, because that's alchemy, my friend. And let's raise consciousness at the same time. You feel me? I'm speaking nothing but truth right now, broskies. So here we go. Bitcoin touched 69 Gs on the U.S. election day, November 5th, as key on-chain metric flipped bullish, suggesting a Bitcoin uptrend to 120,000 intact. In fact, when we did our TA, I showed you on the weekly chart, 124,000 still in play. Don't get her twisted. Bitcoin's attempting to reclaim the 2022 all-time high. In fact, we're already above it. We're roughly 69.5. We already tapped 70,500-ish as a local high on the day. But in a market currently influenced by numerous numerous macro elected issues, analysts at market intelligence firm CryptoQuant opted for the traditional approach, utilizing the MVRV indicator to indirectly assess the Bitcoin current value. So here's what he had to share. He found that the MVRV indicator recently surpassed the 365-day moving average and is presently above the 4-year average, which typically reflects the Bitcoin cycle. Quoting him here, this suggests the upward trend remains intact, and generally, the cycle peak tends to occur when the MVRV reaches levels between 3 and 3.6. Supposing the realized value remains constant at 43 to 77% increase is necessary for the MVRV ratio, accompanying commentary added. Quoting him again, when applied to the Bitcoin, this translates to a target of $95,000 to $120,000. Send it. And to put this into perspective, broskies, the analysts explain that as the market rises with new buying interest, there is likely to be an uptick in the RV as well, and a peak could be formed above these levels when the previous cycles are taken into consideration. Quoting them again, while Bitcoin has risen significantly over the past year, it has only returned to the average level on the MVRV indicator. The upward momentum is still being maintained. Meanwhile, independent analyst Mags noted that the Bitcoin hash ribbon had printed the buy signal, another bullish indicator. That's what's up. Hash ribbon for the win. This shows an expansion of Bitcoin surging to $102,000. Next stop is the 1.618 Fibonacci level. So you already know, bullishness in the markets. Now for our breaking story of the day. Hellish U.S. debt scenario can propel Bitcoin to $1 million per coin. So let's break this prediction down, especially with a Trump pump family. We have this guy named Sebastian Serrano, CEO of the Argentina-based crypto exchange Ripio. He predicts that Bitcoin will reach $1 million by 2030. JV says we can hit $1 million by 2028, driven by the rise of the U.S. public debt and the devaluation of the all not so mighty U.S. dollar. How do you like that? Sebastian Serrano, CEO of Ripio, one of the largest Argentine crypto exchanges, predicts Bitcoin to reach $1 million by 2030. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And while this prediction entails a price increase of over 1,300% in the next 6 years, Serrano believes a particular scenario might create the conditions for this possible future to unfold. Ripio CEO predicts the U.S. will keep increasing its public debt, whether Miss H or Trump wins the upcoming elections. Yes, I don't say her name no more because when I mentioned her name yesterday, you know what happened. My stream immediately froze and kicked me off of all my streaming you can't make the ish up, so I won't say her name no more. Or Trump wins the upcoming elections, as the victor will be forced to maintain the current level of spending. Nonetheless, he also acknowledges that the Bitcoin price will face a correction if Miss H clenches the victory, at least in 2024, quoting him here. In the long term, the fiscal state has no other option but to devalue the currency. Facts. The U.S. debt is already $35 trillion and growing. This debt increase will also increase the value of the financial assets across the board, bringing a devaluation of the dollar, as the U.S. government will have no choice but to resort to money printing to fulfill its commitments. And that's a fact. Regardless of who's in office, the money printer continue to go burr. This debt skyrocketing scenario will cause the global investors to seek refuge in safe haven assets, including gold and Bitcoin, depending upon their preferences. The elderly will run to gold, and the new generations will buy the Bitcoin. Well, yeah, maybe if you're older than Peter Schiff, maybe you run to gold, but still silly, because Peter Schiff is the Schiffmeister for a reason. Now, Serrano's opinions line up with what many investors are expecting. In September, Bitwise CIO Matt Hoogan also reinforced the role of Bitcoin as a hedge against public debt, stating it represented the ultimate insurance policy against our government royally messing up the U.S. dollar. Also, we have rich dad Robert Kiyosaki referring to Bitcoin similarly, inviting investors to exit the United States dollar and invest in the precious metals or the one and only OG BTC. So there you have it, yo. Here's my personal thoughts. 1 million can happen when you least expect it. Can it happen this cycle? It's a possibility, but I think it's most probable next cycle. I think 2028, next year of the halving, that's as soon as we may see $1 million price target. For this particular cycle, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The Bitcoin is your friend. I see my bottom target, which I think will be next year. We hit the cycle peak, 220,000 bear scenario. JV's bull scenario, 750,000 for this cycle, which I also think will most likely come into play next year. So somewhere between 222 and 750. The median is roughly at the $500,000 mark, right in alignment with Plan B stock to flow model, which suggests Bitcoin above 500,000 per coin post 2024 halving, which is currently where we're at, and especially being we're in Q4, especially with sovereign wealth fund adoption, pension fund adoption, nation state adoption, ETFs, institutional FOMO like a mofo. You already know. Another thing I want to tell the people from the words of wisdom, being in the game for 4 years, when the Bitcoin hits the target, because we all have different takes, 5% on the side. Exactly. Gold to 4,000, Bitcoin 125. Yeah, Max Kaiser said for every dollar gold moves up, Bitcoin will 20x it. So you want 20x or 1x? You know what I mean? Rumble soon. 245 bear scenario, 770,000 bull. Let's motherfucking go. Have a plan ahead of the time. What are you doing with the profits? As soon as it should pull the 5% of the plan, you start to buy the alts. Bitcoin, 500,000 to 750 cycle peak 2025. Send it. The Oracle has spoken.